In this video, we will start blocking our animation. Using the extreme poses, we have spot and define on the reference. As we did when we were animating the squirrel character, I will create those key poses every 5 frames. So for the time being, we don't care about timing at all. And to make sure that I have no sliding controllers, I will insert a keyframe on all controllers for both the character and the punching bag. Since our character will be doing a lot of footwork and that generally the knee is aligned with the foot, in the rig properties I will make sure that the leg parent is set to 1, meaning that the pole target is now following the foot. And as we rotate the feet, the knee will follow. So let's now build our first pose, the idle pose. The right leg or back leg is open to the outside, meaning that the foot is rotated to the right. The weight of the character is supporting mostly by this leg, so I'm pushing the center of gravity backward and onto the right leg. If we watch the reference and look at the line of action, we can see that the whole body is slightly leaning forward, creating a nice C-curve forward from the supporting foot to the head. Generally, the front leg or left leg is not supporting that much weight, and the character is supposed to be on the tip of his toes. You will often see Muay Thai fighter making slight bounce with the front leg. It's a way to input rhythm into the fight, and they keep their front leg ready to block any kick using their left shin. When posing the arms, don't forget that you can't rotate your elbow in any other axis than the Z-axis, and that the arm bone can't rotate upper than the line made by the shoulders. So it's super important to currently pose the shoulders. I see too many beginners not playing with the shoulder controller while they are very important and critically influence the silhouette of your character. Now ask yourself why on the reference the character have the shoulder so high. We are not here to only answer mechanical properties of the body, but also the purpose of the pose. Again, as explained in the previous chapter, if you give a clear goal to the current pose, it will communicate the will of the character. And as soon as you do that, you're giving life to your character. In Muay Thai and in boxing in general, shoulders are raised a lot to protect the head of the character, especially the chin, because a shot in the chin can knock you out instantly. If you were to animate some beginner in boxing, maybe you should drop the shoulders, so that you communicate a big mistake boxing-wise. Here I want my character to show mastery in the art of boxing, so I will try to mimic the reference pose and even push it more, pushing the head deep into the shoulders. As usual, the step between a good pose and a great pose is pretty long and it's about a lot of tweaking. While it might be more natural to have open hands whenever you're not wearing gloves, especially in Muay Thai, where you can catch your opponent and go into the clinch, I've decided to close the left hand, because both my hands were posed a bit the same way, and I had some twinning in the pose and it didn't look that interesting. So I will close the fist and I will slightly scale the palm fingers on their local x-axis to make them slightly larger, as if the fist was a bit squashed by the pressure of the closing hand. Don't forget that you can refer back to the video about posing the hands. Don't forget to pose the neck and the head, but don't over-rotate those controllers. And as a final touch, you can use the face controller to shape a bit the eyes. Now our character is ready to kick some ass. So don't forget to rotate a lot around your character to check if the center of gravity is properly aligned and your character balanced. And don't forget to check the overall silhouette of the character from different angles. Again, remember that you can refer to the previous chapter to double check the method to get a good pose. Before you start posing the jab pose, double check the video reference. You can see that both feet are moving forward during this punch. Beyond rotating the feet, don't forget to change their rotation while posing the jab. So the first thing I will do is to move the feet forward. Now, as we watch carefully the reference, we can see that the weight is shifting onto the front feet. And the whole chest is twisting to the right. And so does the feet. So, since we have weight on the front foot, I will flatten it a bit, and then I will raise the back foot using the heel controller, and then we will rotate both feet to the right. But when you punch left, your feet turns to the right. When you punch with the right, your feet turn to the left. I haven't pushed this pose too much, because the next punch will also be a straight punch forward. And if we go too much forward and too much into an horizontal pose for this initial punch, we will lose the contrast with the next one. And so our pose may look good, but the animation won't, because it will lack of contrast between the first pose and the second pose. Another thing I'm doing though is that I'm slightly spreading the arms of the character. While it might not be a super good idea whenever you are boxing, because you are exposing your chin, this improves a bit the readability of the pose and it slightly extends the overall silhouette of the character when we follow the shoulders. Finally, don't forget that you also have to pose the punching bag. Don't push it too far and don't use that much controller. Moving all the controllers won't necessarily give you a better result. While we do agree that everything is connected, so everything should be moving, keep it simple. Your audience will mainly focus on the character, so you want to avoid any glitches on the bag by moving too much controller at the same time. Once done, don't forget to key all your controllers. And don't forget to add subtle rotation details to the feet. When we watch the reference, we can see that there is a subtle tilting during the punch. But don't forget to add it during the blocking stage.